Every time War Thunder introduces a new mechanic, some existing aircraft receive it. The best example of this would be the F-4E Phantom. It received the AGM-65 Maverick when the A-70 was added, the AIM-70E2 when the EJ-Kai was added, and the GB-15 when the Israeli Phantom received it. With stuff like the FGR-2 and FG-1 receiving the Skyflash, it got me thinking, what else could be added for the current top-tier aircraft we have? We'll try and go through possible upgrades for Nation. Again, disclaimer. I'm not saying they should, all I'm saying is that it might. For the United States, most of their aircraft are more or less squared away. With the battle rating of the AV-8s, I'd rather not recommend that it receive AIM-9Ls. The A-70 having it wouldn't be an issue given its battle rating and the amount it can carry. The F-4E is almost complete. It probably just needs the A-70's pave spike to be added onto it, and it would be more or less complete. Could see it getting the original paveways, but I don't think it needs it that much given that it already has Mavericks, and it could carry 6. Gaijin is just hard nerfing it to carry 4. We'll probably see full implementation of AIM-9Ls with the F-16 and AV-8Bs, but at the moment, I probably don't see the US having it. With the addition of R-60MKs and R-24Ts for the MiG-21 BIS and the MiG-23 MLA for Germany, I think the F-4F can get the AIM-9L as Germany's sort of version of the F-104S ASA. It might even make the F-4F just a bit more capable than the Tornado IDs in terms of air-to-air capability, forcing them to switch places in the tech tree in order for the F-4F to fluidly progress to the F-4F ICE. The MiG-23 MLA should eventually receive the R-60MK when Generation 4 fighters arrive just to keep it in the running. This would make a natural progression towards the MiG-29 with R-73s and R-27 missiles. The longer the MiG-21 BIS stays at 11.0, the more likely it's going to get the R-60M. Pulse Dopplers have knocked the MiG-21 BIS out of its standing when it debuted in 2020, and on top of that, more and more aircraft are getting all-aspect IRs, so it's not helping the cause. The MiG-21 BIS already has an expensive repair cost to do. Might as well give it the performance that it should have. I mean, the MiG-21 BIS SAL already has R-60MKs, so the MiG-21 BIS getting an R-60M isn't out of the realm of possibility. The MiG-23 MLD is going to be a huge one considering it can carry R-73 missiles, but reducing the ammo count to 4. 2 R-24s and R-73s. The Su-22M3 and Su-17M2 doesn't need the R-60M just yet. However, if they decide to add stuff like the Su-24 and Su-25, they might definitely need the R-60M to keep them competitive, or at least just for self-defense. Hell, even I think the R-73 might be on the Su-25 with all the delays in adding it. So far, only the FGR-2 and FG-1 would get AIM-9Ls, although, if the leaks turn out to be true and the Tornado F2 is slated to be added in the next update, the 9Ls would not be necessary. Again, Discord leaks like these almost always turn out fake, and I only brought it up to present a circumstance that the British Phantoms might not receive AIM-9Ls. As for the usual other aircraft like Jaguar GR-1A, I don't think it's necessary, yet along with the Harrier GR-3, but if the Jaguar GR-3A and Harrier GR-7 arrive, they might definitely get it. Oh yeah, of course, in terms of Grand Ordnance, the Buccaneer S2 needs its Wave Spike pod. The F5E AIDC is both in the asset leak and patch leaks for the past few updates. This probably means that the F5E AIDC might get the AIM-9P4, a 20G all-aspect Sidewinder upgrade of the AIM-9P3 that the F5A already has, meaning that the F5A might not receive it. For mainland China, aside from the obvious PL8 that the J8B already has in the files and dev server, the J7E and J8B might get the PL5C, the all-aspect variant of the PL5. although there's a possibility that Gaijin might shelve the PL5C until at least the arrival of the J7C or J7D, a good intermediate between the J7E and J8B. Though for precision ordnance, the Q5D might bring laser ordnance to China with the LT2 guided bomb. There's also the JH7, which could carry the C704s, which you could probably construe as the Chinese counterpart to the Maverick. Here, Japan gives me some sort of a dilemma. The F1 is at a fine BR at 10.3 because despite the 4 AIM-9Ps and a pulse Doppler radar, it has no radar missiles or countermeasures. However, if we create some sort of late variant of the F1 with the GCS-1 infrared guided bomb and AIM-9P4s at 10.7, it might work, but would anyone really be willing to grind for another F1? I bet Japanese mains will, at least that's attention to their tree, but for people who just want to get to the EJ Kai, I don't think it's worth grinding the late variant of the F1. The EJ Kai, though, can get the aforementioned AIM-9P4, AIM-7F, and the AAM-3 just to probably tide them over until stuff like the F-15J and F-2 start coming. Japan's gonna have to wait a bit when it comes to the Generation 4s, because they really didn't adopt the F-16s unless they present a GIMP version of the F2, which I don't recommend, obviously. So yeah, they might wait a bit for the F-15J. We already have the Magic 2 for the Mirage F1C, but I doubt we'll be seeing it on the Jaguar A. If Gaijin decides to add the Super Etendard, given its subsonic top speed and no afterburning capability, it would be nice to have Magic 2s on it, along with everything else it can carry. Because I'm sure the Super Etendard will probably occupy the same BR as the Mirage 5F, because, to be fair, it really is a good ground attack platform. And France is lacking a ground attacker above 10.3, so if they decide to push for the Super Etendard while the Alpha Jet is in the works, you'll probably see the Super Etendard with Magic 2 missiles. Oh, Italy. Unfortunately, Italy has to sit this one out. The other vehicle in their tree is the G91YS, and that's about as fleshed out as it can be. The ASA can be upgraded to the ASA-M standard, but that doesn't do much for its weapons or performance, just its avionics and reliability. If they can hurry up and give the AMX Ghibli, that would be nice. Should Italy receive the Tornado ADV that they leased from the UK, it would get the Skyflash and AMRAAM down the line. At the moment, only the JA-37C Viggen can be upgraded. It can receive the RB-74 or AIM-9L in Swedish service. If the AJS-37 gets added, then it can get it as well. Though it would be nice to have the Swedish Falcons be mounted on the Draken. We would probably be having to wait for the J-35J to have very nice Falcons because the J-35D's Falcons are pretty off. So we'd have to probably wait for the J-35J and the JA-37D plus the Gripen for the actual AMRAAMs to be added. Israel will be in the same ballpark as China, just waiting on the Python 3s to be added onto the Kfir and F4E. If the Kfir C7 would be the last of that line, it would stand to reason that it should get Python 3 missiles. Although, if they decide to add the IAI Lavi on the line of the Kfir, then that would probably get it as well. For the Derby, I don't think we'll be seeing it yet, as none of its launch platforms are in War Thunder. Though we could probably see it come alongside the AMRAAM, if not the Phoenix. There are so many possible upgrades to some of the aircraft here. I'm sure the BR compression will probably make these upgrades happen. Some trees, like I've said before, Japan, would probably just upgrade the EJ Kai. The worst case scenario for Italy, the ASA will be all they have until the F-16 and Tornado start dropping. But Italy could probably wait for the AV-8B to get another A9L equipped aircraft. Either way, these aircraft will be interesting to see in the coming updates. This just goes to show you that the BR compression does weird things to vehicles. It improves them. Gaijin gets forced to add some new stuff, like the Magic 2 on the Mirage F1C. So, that will be it. Thanks for watching. This is the Dr. MD. Godspeed.